Hello everyone and welcome to my preview for the September 29th edition of AEW Dynamite. I am Miss Dynamite herself, Stephanie Chase, and I'm going to be running you through the card of the matches already announced for this week's show, giving you a little bit of background and maybe even some predictions. But before we get down to the card, if you're watching this video, please hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to my channel if you love AEW. It is full of AEW content every single week. Every Thursday, I review AEW Dynamite live here on this channel. And now on Saturdays, I also review Rampage. So join me live for both those shows and let your opinions on AEW be heard. And also go check out my latest interviews, first with Ruby Soho and with Chris Jericho. And you can also find more AEW content on my podcast feed. Just go search AEW Weekly with Stephanie Chase on your preferred podcast app. Now let's get down to business. We are now living in a post-AEW Grand Slam world, a world in which a match between Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega has taken place on television. But for this week's Dynamite, so far we have 4 matches announced, including a TNT Championship match. So let's start with that, as Miro will be taking on Sammy Guevara. Now, Miro has been destroying everyone who's come in his path as TNT champion, but no one more so than Fuego del Sol, Sammy Guevara's best friend that we've all been watching on Sammy's vlog. Now, even after Fuego got destroyed by Miro, he was offered an AEW contract by Tony Khan. And last week, Fuego took another shot at Miro and the TNT championship and even put his new car on the line. Of course, he lost. But now Fuego's best friend, Sammy, is stepping up. And we saw this past week on Rampage, Miro viciously attacked Sammy when he was just trying to do his cue card gimmick. This is a huge match for Sammy Guevara and hopefully will be the start of a bit of a singles run for him. Now, he was the guy who picked up the victory at the Stadium Stampede when it was the Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle. Then he lost on TV to MJF. But then he won in a tremendous match with Shawn Spears. Now, the Inner Circle are still together, but it looks like we're moving in a direction where they're more just aligned than always up on each other's business. I think the TNT title would be a perfect way to establish Sammy Guevara as a single star. Now, Miro has been an incredible champion who has put on some fantastic, entertaining, quick, hard-hitting matches. But I feel like with the TNT title, with what we saw with Darby Allin's reign, that they like to end a reign while it's still hot. However, I'm not expecting Sammy to win this Wednesday. Instead, I'm expecting him to lose to Miro, but then challenge him later, maybe at Full Gear, maybe before that, and he will pick up the victory in his second encounter. Now, we have an interesting tag match as Cody Rhodes is teaming with Lee Johnson from the Nightmare Factory to take on Dante Martin and Matt Sydal. Of course, Dante Martin from Top Flight, his brother Darius is injured, and since then we've seen him just absolutely astound us in matches and occasionally team with Matt Sydal. Now, Cody is, of course, coming off a loss against Malachi Black at Dynamite Grand Slam last week. But Malachi's win was not the most noble, as he did spit miss in the face of Cody. So what really interests me about this match is whether or not this is the whole end of the Malachi Black and Cody Rhodes feud, or whether it is set to continue because of how the finish went last week on Dynamite. I would personally love to see Malachi Black move on to something else. He's so over with the crowd. I think it's time to take him out of the Cody-verse, as it is called. And as far as where Cody goes next, I'm really not sure. But I think it's interesting that he's teaming with Lee Johnson again. And the two of them defeated Cesar Bononi and Peter Avalon. This is back in February, which gave Lee Johnson his first win. And it was in the post-match of that Lee Johnson kind of shaded QT Marshall by not thanking him. And that really got the ball rolling on this whole QT versus Cody feud. But as I said, it was Lee that initially kind of ignited things and QT feeling underappreciated, but it was Cody who ultimately got the feud. And then, of course, it transitioned into a Cody versus Anthony Ogogo feud. And Cody would even team with Lee Johnson to take on Anthony Ogogo and QT Marshall on Dynamite back in June. Since then, Lee's biggest spot has been in September when he faced Malachi Black, and that was after he had ran out to help Dustin Rhodes, who was being attacked by Malachi Black. Lee was defeated by Black in a singles match. So I kind of feel like with everything that's been going on, Lee Johnson has been a little bit forgotten and pushed to the background, certainly more so than we would have assumed him to be, considering that initial appearance on Dynamite that he had. But I am interested to see how him and Cody measure up to Dante and Matt, who are two great high flyers. They're very exciting wrestlers to watch, and it'll be a different challenge for Cody than what we've seen him do recently. For this match, I'm predicting that Cody and Lee get the win just because Cody probably needs a victory, having just lost to Malachi Black twice. But as I said, the most interesting thing here is, where is Cody going? Is he staying feuding with Malachi Black to get that big win back? Or is he going to move on to something else? And of course, will there be any changes in the presentation of Cody? Because one of the big talking points from his match with Malachi Black at Grand Slam was how the crowd were treating him as a heel. And Cody has said numerous times that he doesn't want to be a heel, but is he just playing us? And will we see a proper heel turn from Cody Rhodes perhaps on Wednesday? On Dynamite, we will also see a women's tag team match as Anna Jay and Ty Conti team together to take on Penelope Ford and the Bunny from the Hardy family office. This match comes after what we saw on Grand Slam Rampage when Anna Jay was defeated by Penelope Ford, of course, thanks to some brass knucks from the Bunny. After that, a whole smosh went on as Ty Conti ran down to make the save, but we had the Bunny already out there. Then we had all the members from the Hardy family office. There are many members in the Hardy family office. They got involved. Then we saw Chris Statlander and Orange Cassidy come out. And then we saw the Dark Order come out to save Anna Jay. And it looked like they had reunited, but they hadn't. Anna and Penelope's match on Rampage really seemed like it was a device to tell a larger story, particularly between the Hardy family office and Orange Cassidy. And the Hardy family office, because there's so many of them, they get a lot of TV time, particularly Matt Hardy. So I thought that it was kind of disappointing that this match really seemed like a device to just work that larger angle. And of course, we have the storyline going on between the Dark Order, where there's been lots of dissension. As I said, it did look like they were on the same page when they went out to help Anna and Ty, but then we saw Evil Uno and Stu Grayson basically walk away. I think here the notable thing is that this is happening in Rochester, New York. Rochester, New York is, of course, the home of Brody Lee, and it was where Brody Lee was set to make his debut. So I'm wondering if, given the setting, are we finally going to see the Dark Order be brought together on the same page? Who could do that? Adam Page, clearly the only guy for the job. So maybe something big will happen during this match, like the return of Adam Page. If not, I expect that Anna Jay and Ty Conti will pick up the win just because of the losses that they've suffered recently. I do think the other thing that's interesting about this match is that it has been reported that AEW is introducing a secondary women's title, which would be known as the TBS Championship. And while I think that's really good, I think a lot of us did expect that they'd maybe introduce women's tag team titles, because we do see some actual strong alliances between women that can make into tag teams, such as, of course, Ty J and Penelope Ford and the Bunny. But my real hope for this is that we just get a strong match between the four women and we don't have it diluted by Matt Hardy trying to cut someone's hair. I don't mind if there's a really good Dark Order angle at the end of it, but I would say just leave it to these 4 women and let's really showcase them, especially if we're bringing in that secondary women's title. It's very good to see other women's storylines that aren't to do with Britt Baker happening on the show. And this is one that could be played really, really well if we just keep kind of the other stuff that the guys are getting into away from it. And finally, at Rampage Grand Slam, we saw the super click. That's Adam Cole and the Young Bucks taking on Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, and Christian Cage. Now, the super click, of course, got the win, but one of the most interesting points in the match was what happened between Adam Cole and Jungle Boy. And now on Dynamite, we are getting the singles match between these two. This is absolutely Jungle Boy's biggest singles match since he faced Kenny Omega in June. Adam Cole is so over. It's unbelievable. Adam Cole is very much like his girlfriend, Dr. Britt Baker. They are 2 heels that the crowd just can't help to cheer for. But then Jungle Boy is someone that the crowd loves so much too. And we've got 2 of the best entrance themes here at AEW. So I'm very interested to see how the crowd goes in this one. If they support the babyface Jungle Boy, or if Adam Cole's just so cool that they have to cheer for him. Jungle Boy is someone who is always improving in the ring. We saw that when he stepped in there with Kenny Omega, and I think that Adam Cole will bring a really, really good match out of him. And as much as I love Jurassic Express, this is what I want to see from Jungle Boy. I want him to see him be put in these big singles match situations. He doesn't have to win, but I think that each time he's put in these positions, he really, really shines, and he shows tremendous growth where he's nearly at that point where he could perhaps be TNT championship level. Adam Cole has, of course, just been on an absolute roll ever since he made the right decision and came to AEW. And I like that they're using him so much on TV. Like, this is going to be his 3rd match that we've seen in AEW. We've only seen 1 match from Dan O'Brien. We've only seen 2 matches from CM Punk. But Adam Cole, he's definitely someone that you could put on TV wrestling like every other week, and he'll still be special. As for who's going to win, I think it has to be Adam Cole. He's on such a run. It has to be. As I said, the crowd is so behind Adam Cole that whatever the plans were for him turning on the rest of the Elite, Kenny and the Young Bucks, I'd almost accelerate them because the crowd just want to cheer him so much. So yes, Adam Cole for the victory, but I think that Jungle Boy, it's going to be a hard-fought match from him, and we're going to be walking away from it not just saying, oh my gosh, how great is Adam Cole, I'm so glad he's in AEW, but we're also going to be saying, I'm so glad that AEW has a homegrown star like Jungle Boy, who is really, really getting primed for the big time. And that's all from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. As I said, please hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications. You can already set a reminder for my Dynamite review, which I will be doing on Thursday at 10 p.m. UK time. I hope to see all of you there. Bye.